From my smartphone to yours, I'm Lovecasting live from the Serious Story Garden Studios in Costa Mesa, California. And this is your Thursday Namaste Today. Good morning and namaste, and welcome to Namaste Today. My name is stepº20. I am a life coach, psychic astrologer, and the Sensei to Serious Joy. My sole mission is to stand in my heart and help others into theirs. Welcome. This webisode is for Thursday, November 12th, 2015. And today the great human walk has progressed to step 20, Scorpio. Now, first off, let me just say hello to the newcomers. A lot of new people have been joining the show recently, and I want to say hello. Thank you so much. Great to see you. We're in the Scorpio state of awareness, and now that we have reached step 20, we're in the final third, or what I call Act 3 of the lesson. So now we are in Act 3 of Scorpio, and Scorpio is the dimension between dimensions. It is the part of us that can draw a line. It's the part of us that can hold ourselves back. It's the part of us that says stop and means it. It's the part of us that says go and means it. Okay, if you know Scorpios. And now that we're into Act 3, Step 20 and beyond, we're in the passionate part of this spectrum. Now, one thing Scorpios are known for is their passion, and you're going to feel that now. Part of it has to do with the architecture of 20 and beyond. Okay, and I'm going to talk about it today. But first, let's talk about what today will likely be. I predict today will probably be an introverted day and a bit of a serious day. I think people will be introverted and serious. That's because I think you might be feeling vulnerable no matter what your sign is. That's because emotion is being taken up a notch, and we're in the a sign of boundary making. So if you fail to have a boundary drawn, if you've left a door open, if you've left a window open, then things kind of blow through. So when we go up a notch in the passion, as the wind starts to blow a bit more passionately in our life, anything that's not battened down, any hatch that's not battened down is pretty self-evident. So there's a lot of vulnerability that happens in this first 24 hours. Be easy with yourself, be non-judgmental. But by the end of the day, I think that emotion will turn into passion and turn into joy, and that's what it's going to turn into in the next 24 hours. So it's really about securing and protecting yourself. And that brings us to today's topic, which is protecting passion. What is the philosophy of protecting passion? And have you even thought of protecting passion? You know, passion is really, I think, what everybody wants and what everybody fears at the same time. We all are very passionate beings, and it's been my experience as a sensei to joy that people don't just want happiness, they want bliss, they want passionate joy. All right? And a lot of times people want this passion, but they're not really prepared for this passion. And most people I know have stage fright when it comes to passion. In fact, most people I know tend to hold themselves back. Now, the architecture of incarnation of Step 20 pretty much talks about the idea of passion and explains how it works. And I liken it very much to kind of like pressure in a water hose, you know. If you limit, close down the water, you end up creating more passion, more pressure, right? If you don't close down the water will just run out, and there will be no pressure. It'll kind of go limp, pardon the expression, right? So really, a boundary for a person determines how much passion they have and how much passion a person will sustain. So right off the bat, I think a lot of people have in their minds this idea that they don't want to put limits on things because limits on things will actually, prevent the fun. I disagree. I think limits on things, if anything, increase the pressure and intensity of the fun because you've now limited where it can go and where it can flow. So it kind of builds and goes up. So boundaries and passion go hand in hand. In fact, I think that's also why a lot of people, now that we're in Scorpio, let's talk sex for a couple of minutes. I mean, a lot of people get into a lot of twisted sex, right? Where they are being held up by different boundaries or not. And really, that passion, it gets more intense because you're being held back or not. So, again, boundaries directly relate to the amount of passion. But let's get more specific and help you with your passion in your life and start with today's 5 o'clock question. Anywhere in life, think of a place, where do you hold yourself back with passion? So, where do you hold yourself back in passion? Can you think of a place? I'm sure you can, and this is the time to think of it in Scorpio. Then the follow-up question, what do you believe would happen if you didn't hold yourself back? So what do you believe would happen if you didn't hold yourself back? So I'll answer my own questions, of course, because I love to. Where do I hold myself back? Well, believe it or not, I actually hold myself back on camera all the time. That's because I'm still learning to get comfortable. I'm getting better and better at that. And maybe even today, after our little philosophies of boundaries, I'll get even better. But probably a more day-to-day example is I hold myself back on the dance floor. I'm totally like a John Travolta wanting to happen, but I hold myself back. Like I don't do it. And I want to, but I don't. And it's something my heart really wants. I just want to go all crazy on the dance floor. Now, what do I believe would happen if I didn't hold myself back? I believe I would make a jackass out of myself, and when I say that, I mean nothing really bad would happen, except that I just feel like it would be uncomfortable because I can't escape the feeling of their eyes looking at me or whatever. So I'm having a hard time with that. So I just believe I would feel awkward and look awkward. But at the end of the day, people probably just think I was drunk. Which is what, kind of go hand in hand. I used to be a boundary necessary for me to dance once upon a time. So that said, thinking about this in boundaries, the truth is I hold myself back on the dance floor. I hold myself back on camera, I think, because I haven't established boundaries ahead of time. All right, so I can't go fully into my passion because I don't have boundaries ahead of time. Now, here's the truth. The boundary right now for myself, because I haven't really practiced enough with my dancing and whatnot, is I don't, when I'm by myself, in other words, when the boundary's up and I'm alone, I don't hold myself back. So there, in the safety of a boundary, I can let the passion out. And I do. God help any neighbor that's peeking through my blinds. Because I am Tom Cruising it in my underwear for sure, all the time. But the truth is that it's because the boundary's there. On camera, too, I also realized, like, with being more myself on camera, it's like, I said to myself, well, you know what? The show doesn't have to be this. It doesn't have to be this. It doesn't have to be this. So I put in boundaries of what the show didn't have to be anymore. And when I put in those boundaries, I could go all out within those boundaries. Like, okay, well then, since it's such a stagnant show, I guess I'll just be myself because that's the only thing that's entertaining now that I don't have graphics flying in. Right? So the point of today's little lesson is boundaries equal your ability to go crazy. I always say to my clients, especially people who have issues with sexual connection, which is another place I'll say I've held myself back. And I think, again, when people hold themselves back with sexual intimacy, it's often because they don't have the appropriate boundaries in place with themselves, or they don't have the appropriate boundaries in place with the person, and so there's an awkwardness there. So, in other words, the appropriate boundaries may be, if this is the right person and y'all have talked about it and everyone's comfortable, then it's like, go crazy, right? Once you have those boundaries set, you can let the passion flow. So, if you have any places in your life where you can't let it flow, see where the boundaries are. And also, the point of asking, what do you believe? Because a lot of times when we're uncomfortable with trying something or getting past a boundary, the best thing to do is to surrender to what you believe. Do you believe you're going to make an ass out of yourself? No, I don't. So go with it then, if you go with your belief when you are in doubt. So let's log into my guides and see what they have to say about the day. And I want to look at the planets myself too with my logical mind. Yeah, I definitely feel it and I understand it right away. It comes right to the moon. It's all about the moon. I know that sounds kind of obvious, but that's what my guys are saying. It's about the moon. Today, step 20 rules a day. In my step astrology approach, that means I feel, step 2, plus I protect, step 0. So without the 0, I protect, the feeling feels vulnerable. So with step 2 ruling the day with no protection or protection, really that 2 is what we end up feeling in the day, which are emotions. So everyone's going to be very emotional today. That said, the moon herself moves up into Sagittarius and crosses over Sirius Saturn. That's why I think it's going to be a little bit of a serious day, S-I-R-U-S. And that means that we're getting serious about what we're here for, serious about our light, and really it comes down to letting go. So the truth is we're emotionally letting go of an old philosophy. We're emotionally letting go of an old way of believing. Sometimes people emotionally let go of old ways of believing by getting in fights or arguments with people who represent the old belief structure. So it's like if grandma or your boss, or the people you co-work with, or anyone in your day-to-day life suddenly gets an argument with you. It's likely that they might be part of the old belief structure that you're saying goodbye to. And sometimes we are emotionally attached to that fight. Sometimes we're emotionally attached to those situations. And today's a day with the sun in Scorpio and emotion and the moon crossing Saturn. Today really is a day where it's like, you know what, just let's let that old go. So to some degree, protecting our passion today is letting go of the passion that we don't believe in anymore. Like, I don't believe in this anymore. I'm just not going to let myself go there anymore. It's not worth the emotion. It's not worth the passion. That in itself puts in a boundary that leaves more passion and economy for you. It's also like facing fears about moving into the future too. Sometimes we are afraid to let go of old beliefs. We're afraid to let go of old fights because we're afraid to move forward. So it's like we're holding on because we don't want to move forward. So Mars is at step 29 of Virgo, and the North Node is there too today. So that's really interesting. What that says is, like, today it's all about how you feel and acting forward with how you feel. So acting forward, that's what 29 is. 29 is a master step of really pulling it off in perfect integrity. Integrity at 29 means that you move forward with the new plans. We don't harbor around the old stuff. We don't act on the old stuff. 29 is the highest, the brightest, the best we can be. And so in your day today, that's what you want to aim for, is the best and brightest you can be, which means this old stuff has to go, which means we can't be here anymore in this old thinking, which means we're on to a new belief. All right, so it means that we don't stay stuck in the old feelings. Now, the last thing I want to just point out before I take off for the day is that there is a major yag going on right now, and it's pointing to Uranus retrograde in Aries. For you astronauts out there, this is a new view of you being born. In some regards, though, because of the Saturn and Sag, and because a lot of my clients have Sagittarius karma, whether it be Chiron, Neptune, or other major planets, I think that this is the return of an old past life self. I know to some degree I have been pulling out this past life self. So a lot of people are actually pulling characters out of their past life right now and stepping into them. And in a way, it's your karmic opportunity to try it again. So I would think, like in the case of Bernie Sanders or even Hillary Clinton, this is her second chance to be a new wombed man, Aries. In your life, that's the case too. This will probably be a second chance, if you know your multi-lifetime story, to be a new you. But if you don't know your past life, you don't know your past life stories, a lot of the major events of childhood between ages, up till age 30, anything major, like you lost the Olympics or you lost something that was like very important to you, those are all actually usually replays of our past life karma. So if you might find yourself getting an opportunity to reverse a childhood issue of yours, which is the past life issue. So a lot of interesting stuff going on right now. It's going to be an interesting season ahead, no doubt about that. All right, my friends, I want to say thank you to all the people who have shared my show with others. It really shows you care when you share, so thank you very much. Those who are on Facebook, you can always follow me at soulgarden.me. And if you're on YouTube, please be kind and do subscribe, but it's actually better if you come on down to the mothership at soulgarden.tv. That's where you can leave a comment and I can start to get to know you. And of course, if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's stepº20. All right, my friends, I'll see you in 24 hours with more. Stay in your heart. Remember that you are an important light on earth and you are doing so much for the world around you. Just take a good look and give yourself a bow. In 24 hours, we have our special Friday show. Until then, remember, I love you and live, love, be.
So